Hello, everyone, and welcome back again to the weekly newspaper and analysis of the Assam Tribune. I hope you all are doing fine and you're preparing for your 2025 APSC prelims. Okay, so in the Assam Tribune, we bring it on a weekly basis, so you can follow us every Sunday at 7 a.m. So, in today's episode, we are going to discuss all important news items and also important articles and also the important editorials which were published in the newspaper in between 24th August to 30th August. Okay, so let's start with the 24th of August. So, we have first news which is international relations. Since you all know that Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi was on his visit to Ukraine, and he has discussed a lot of he has discussed a lot of bilateral issues, but he has also discussed about the possibility of peace in the region. And there's also something which is very important, which is called as a Bhisham cubes. Now what are these Bhisham cubes? Now, India's readiness to contribute in all possible ways to facilitate the speedy return of peace. So, this was the first thing that was discussed there, that India is going to be playing a major important part in mediating peace between Russia and Ukraine. And then these were the terms that were discussed in when Prime Minister Narendra Modi was in his Ukraine visit. So, this Bhisham cubes that you just saw right now is actually expanding the cooperation in the field of medicine, since India is a hub of pharmaceutics and the industry and the medicine industry. So Ukraine and India have decided to enter into a cooperation where India will be providing a lot many pharmaceutical products or lot many medicinal products, because now since Ukraine is on a war, they are in constant need of medicines and things like this. But since procuring medicines from the European countries is very costly, because their medicines are very costly, so India has stepped on its part and said that we are going to give you the medicines, exactly the same number of medicines and exactly the same amount of the composition, the same medicine, but will be at a very cheaper cost. So this was something which was entertained by both the countries, and the State Service of Medicine and Drug Control of Ukraine and also Central Organizations for Control of Medicine Standards. So these are the parties. So this is called as a Bhisham cube. So this might come as a potential prelims question, so you can write it down in your notebook. Next, we have the infrastructure. As you know that India's northeast was lagging a lot in the infrastructure of railways, and this is the first time ever that Indian Railways is trying to expand its line of communication in the northeast region. So in this part, Mizoram has got its first you can say Mizoram has received its first line of railway communication, and it will be from Bhairavi and Harkoti, which is part of the Bhairavi Sairang new line railway project. So let me take out this pen first. I'll show you exactly where it is. So since Northeast India has not been receiving a lot of railway connectivity projects, and as we all know, in the northeast region, the last line which was connected by railway is actually the Dibrugarh. Okay, so but here, as you can see, it is from the Bhairavi and Horkoti, which is part of the Bhairavi Sairang. Now where is this? As you can see, this is located in from here we can say this is located in, as you can see, this one. So this is Arunachal. As you can see, this is the last line of track here. From here, the line will be connecting to the Mizoram's Bhairavi. Okay, so this is the Silchar. From here, you can see the line has been connecting through. Okay, and then there will be another line which will be passing through the state of Arunachal, and then will be passing through Manipur, which is through Imphal. So here we can see this is the Lamding road, which I think many of you must be very familiar. So this is the Lamding railway line. So from here the connection has been started, and from here it will move on to Silchar, and from there it will be connecting to the Mizoram one. Okay, and then there will be other regions also. From here also we will again be connecting from Karimganj. We will go to the Tripura, and then from there we'll go to Agartala. So these are the new connecting lines which have been designed by Indian Railways as part of the connecting infrastructure on the northeast regions. So next we know it is 16.725 kilometer long broad gauge line between Bhairavi and Harkoti. So this is 16.7205 kilometer long. So if this might be a question for your prelims. And the new line between Bhairavi and Sairang is divided into 4 sections: Bhairavi, Hortoki, Kaunpui. Then there are some names which I am not sure if I will be able to pronounce it correctly. So these are meso names. And then the project itself is being 12,853 meters. So it will be connecting to a lot of bridges, some major bridges, some minor and also some minor bridges. Next we have on the sector of environment, which is MOU signed between Anil Agarwal Foundation KNP. So in a move towards the protection of endangered animals, Anil Agarwal Foundation, through the flagship animal program initiative, the Animal Care Organization signed a memorandum of understanding with Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve. So who is this Anil Agarwal Foundation? So you must have heard about Vedanta. So Vedanta is a corporate organization just like Adani and Ambani. So they work in mining sectors, they work in the energy sector and these other kind of sectors. They also work in the petroleum sectors and stuff like that. So this is a Vedanta, which is a billionaire company. So this company has recently, it's a foundation. So foundation is like the trust. Okay, the foundation is something which they build as a part of their corporate social responsibility. So this foundation, they have taken into account to sign an MOU with the Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve. So the name of the initiative is the Animal Care Organization, which is the TACO. So the name of the mission is Mission Van Raksha. So Mission Van Raksha here will be providing surveillance centers in all over Kaziranga National Park and the Tiger Reserve to assist the frontline workers. So who are the frontline workers? The frontline workers are the workers who work constantly to protect the wildlife of Kaziranga National Park. It may be volunteers, it may be the security guards, it may be anyone who works for the protection of the forest. So to help those frontline workers, the entire foundation will be providing surveillance camera. So surveillance camera is not something which we use in our day-to-day life. Okay, it is not a CCTV, but we need surveillance cameras which can detect the heat signatures of the particular animal. So these will be placed in trees and barks and stuff like that. So it gives you a very clear vision in the night also, because you need a camera which can take high resolution pictures also during the night. So these are very high resolution cameras and it's very costly. So we mostly see this used by the foreign by the foreign companies, and also we see this to be used by the South African wildlife programs. But this is for the first time, these kind of surveillance which are very high resolution cameras which can detect heat signatures from particular animals, and they can take a record of the animals that has passed by or any kind of dangers that have been endangered in that place. So next we have the reservation, which is Bharat Bandh protest. You must have heard about it because recently there was a Bharat Bandh which was called for to protest against the new vistas of the quota policy. So we have an editorial on this, so let's see what it talks about. So recently the 7-judge constitutional bench of the Supreme Court said that they have delivered a statement. The case is the state of Punjab versus Davinder Singh, which is August 2024. So you need to remember this case because this case is an important case. So this might come in your mains exam also. So this is the state of Punjab versus the Davinder. So the reservation policies in regard to categorize and declassify the SCs and STs in terms of the reservation quotas. Now the judgment has overruled the 5-judge bench decision of the 2004 in the E.V. Chinnaya versus Andhra Pradesh case that said that SCs or STs cannot be subclassified. So there was one plea which was already presented before the Andhra Pradesh High Court, and the court said that SCs and STs cannot be subclassified. Subclassified as in they cannot be subclassified into the economic standard. That means, like for OBC, what we have is we have a creamy layer and a non creamy layer. So if you're a creamy layer person, that means you are outside the purview of the reservation because you are already an economically privileged section of the OBC community. But in the SCs and STs, no such thing were ever introduced. But for the first time in 2004, when this case was presented, then the Andhra Pradesh court said that you cannot declassify or subclassify it, so it cannot be subclassified. But the same judgment was overruled by 2024 judgment of the Supreme Court of India, and on being challenged, the Andhra Pradesh High Court upheld the act, but on appeal to Supreme Court, the Chinnaya judgment declared the subclassification of SCs unconstitutional. So in that particular case, they said that you cannot subclassify SCs because it is completely unconstitutional. Then again, why it is unconstitutional? Because in the Indira Sohani case, which we know as the Mandal Commission, which gave us the backward and the other backward communities, the Chinnaya decision was subsequently applied to strike down. That means in the Sohani case, it was given in the judgment, it was presented that OBCs and MOBCs will be given 27% will be given 27% reservation, but there is also a criteria of subclassifying them according to the type of the economic according to the type of the economic according to the economic privileges that they own. So the judgment further held that subclassification of backward classes is permissible, that reservation must not exceed 50%. That means in the Mandal Commission itself, it was said that the subclassification is possible only for the OBC community but not for the SCs and STs. So because of that, in the Chinnaya case, the Andhra Pradesh court said that you cannot subclassify because the Mandal Commission itself said that subclassification is possible only for the OBCs and MOBCs and not for the SCs and STs. They didn't say that it is not possible for SCs and STs, but there has a report. The report of Mandal Commission itself said that the OBCs can be subclassified according to the economic privileges that they have. But there was no such other commission or there was no such other report which said about the subclassification of SCs or STs. So that is why the Andhra Pradesh court said that since we do not have any such papers, we do not have any such records, we do not have even the National Commission of SCs and STs also do not provide any subclassification of SCs and STs. So we cannot allow the state government to subclassify them because there are no such records of it, and it will be very unconstitutional. But in the Davinder Singh judgment, the SC, after long deliberation, they found out that the SC community do not belong to a very homogeneous group, but they are very heterogeneous. There are different levels of SCs and STs. Some may enjoy a lot of privileges, but some may not enjoy a lot of privileges. So they said that there are certain SC communities who have had enjoyed a lot many privileges in the past, who may have been associated with the kings and queens, but there are a lot who were not associated, were very on the deprived section. So we can subclassify them. It does not mean that since National Commission for SCs and STs does not provide any subclassification, so that does not mean that it cannot be given. But based on the all sociological factors, the Supreme Court found out that they do not belong to any they do not belong to any homogeneous group, and that is why they can be subclassified. Next we have language and recognition. So recognition of Manipuri as other associate official language of Assam, and Chief Minister of Assam Himanta Biswa Sarma has recently passed a bill on Assam Official Language Act and saying that Manipuri language can be used as official language, associate official language in the Barak Valley, because many states or many districts in the Barak Valley have large number of Manipuri speakers. Okay, so what do you mean by associate official language? Associate official language means there will be Assamese. Assamese will be the primary official language, but in case, let's say, if somebody does not know how to read and write Assamese in the Barak Valley, they can use Manipuri as the associate official language. So whichever they give, it will be accepted by the government. Now Manipuri language to be used as an associate official language for these regions: Kachar, Karimganj, Hailakandi and Hojai. So these may up a potential prelims question. Please do write it down. Now business and entrepreneurship, we have Austrian embassy team visits Nagaland. So the Austrian embassy's commercial section visited Nagaland as part of its broader fact-finding mission to explore the entrepreneurship ecosystem. So this Austria team of entrepreneurship, they are looking for young minds who can who can give new ideas to the meaning of partnership, who can give new ideas to the meaning of business and entrepreneurship. So the embassies, it's a larger part of the embassy's tour. So they are touring all northeast states, and currently they are in Nagaland, and they are looking for people to foster good entrepreneurship language. Now on the 25th of August, we have a very good article which is based on the former Education Minister of India, Humayun Kabir. Now, who was Humayun Kabir? In this highly discussed Maharaja Sayaji Rao Golden Jubilee lecture delivered in 1943 at Baroda, Professor Kabir had presented a broad outline of some of the aspects of Indian civilization, which was largely neglected by the Western narrative. So, Professor Kabir, he was also a professor. He was also the then Education Minister of India under Nehru, and then he said that the Indian education system is far better than the Western, but the Western narrative have always diluted the meaning of the civilizational history or the civilizational education of India. He was quick to admit that the Indus Valley was the first recognizable ingredient in the development of Indian culture. So Indus Valley, everything that stems out of the Indian culture has come up from the Indus Valley civilization, and the beliefs include the cult of the mother goddess, the reverence of the cow, and the worship of Shiva. So he said that these are the primary beliefs of a civilization, and from these beliefs our entire understanding of the civilization of the Indian civilization of the Indian education system has come up. So these are the primary objectives which were there in the study of the Indus Valley civilization, and they said that these are the things which were largely neglected by the Western education in India. He said that a pacifist temper largely came from the Mohenjo-daro days. So what do you mean by pacifist? Pacifist is something who do not believe in the act of violence. They are largely in terms of the cooperation, non-violence, and peaceful negotiation of the conflict. So whenever there is a conflict, you must go and pacify the conflict. You must go and pacify the places, because with more violence you are going to incite even more violence. So the pacifist temper of the Indian have come from the Mohenjo-daro, and we have seen a lot of the examples of the pacifying civilization there. Next we have the Buddhist thought. He said about the significance of the Buddhist thought, and he said there is the first person in history who ever attempted to solve the mystery of the existence of rational terms in the without recourse to mysticism. So he said that the real meaning of life, the real meaning of existence, something which in the currently the quantum physics also tries to answer the meaning of the existence, but Buddha was the first person who gave a rational understanding, just like Kant gave a very rational understanding, the Descartes and all. So these are Western thinkers who gave the idea of the nature of the existence, but he said that it was Buddha who is the first person ever recognized to have started the idea of rationalizing the idea of the existence in the rational terms, and without resorting to any kind of mysticism. Now on February 22nd, he was born in the Komarpur, which is now in the present day Bangladesh, but he didn't stay in Bangladesh, he became part of India. His farewell speech in the Oxford Union is historically well known, and that speech he noted that this house condemns the Indian policy of His Majesty's government, and he openly went and said in the London Assembly that whatever the policy that you are introducing in the name of education in India, I highly condemn that, and it is not a good one. So he was actively involved in various students' activities and trade union, and in 1932 he was invited by Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan to teach philosophy in the Andhra University and later at the University of Calcutta. He was a chairman of the University Grand Commission, which is UGC, and also the Education Minister of India twice under Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. He was the official editor of Maulana Abul Kalam Azad's biography India Wins Freedom. So these are the minor details which you can get from his biography, so you should write it down. Next we have, first as a distinguished scholar on the Immanuel Kant, Humayun Kabir wrote 2 treatises on Kant. So you see, Kant also tries to explore the existence of the nature of the existence, the nature of human thought, like how we think, are we like influenced by some outer properties, or whether our thoughts are really existential, or whether our thoughts are itself something which is influenced by some outer from some outer objective or some outer stimulus or stuffs like that. So he tried to wrote 2 treatises on Khan, which is both in English and the Bengali, and the Humayun Kabir was instrumental in shaping the course of the Assamese inspiration to the preparation of the multi-volume encyclopedia. So when he came to Assam, then Professor Birinsi Kumar Borua, he requested him to grant a sum of this much amount for the encyclopedia project. So even Mohendra Borua, in his autobiography Upolo Nodi Dore, he explained that when he came to Assam, when Professor Birinsi Kumar Borua, he requested him to provide this much of donation or grant for the encyclopedia project, he immediately gave that. But because of the red tapeism, because of the bureaucratic red tape, the bureaucratic corruption and the red tapeism, the project got at halt. But later, Assam Publication Board published a first volume of the Assamese Encyclopedia using Professor Kabir's grant. Next, we have on the 25th, Environment and Wildlife with a Modi hails Assam's love for animals. So Modi, he says about Hulok Gibbon. So Tinsukia district's Barekuri village that got a special mention in Prime Minister's Man Ki Baat. In a tiny village, Barekuri in the Tinsukia district of Assam, people belonging to the Moran community reside. And in the same village dwell the Hulok Gibbons, and they are called the Holo Bandor. We have read about the Assamese poem, na Holo Util Toko Gosot Logai Khodomodu, that one. So it is a Holo Bandor, which we also known as the Hulok Gibbon. It is very indigenous, very local to Assam. So villagers in the Tinsukia district of that village, they have a tradition which is really associated with the monkeys or with the Hulok Gibbon. That's why they felt no step unturned to strengthen their bonds with the Gibbons. When they realized that the Gibbons love bananas a lot, they started growing bananas on their farm. So what they do is they grow bananas on their farms and they feed those Hulok Gibbons. So now people and the Gibbons, they reside in a very peaceful manner. Besides, they decided that they would perform rituals connected with the birth and death of Gibbons, exactly as they would have performed for the near and dear ones, and they have also named the Gibbons like their own child. The Prime Minister also highlighted the initiative which was taken by the state of Arunachal Pradesh. So under the leadership of Napan, Bapu and Likha Nana, the team undertakes the 3D printing various parts of animals. So 3D printing means they will take 3D printing of even teeth, or you can say some either horns or stuffs like that. So they are then made into items such as apparel on the headgear. This is an amazing alternative which makes use of the biodegradable material. So they have said that because the Arunachal community has a lot of culture which is related to the horns and teeth of the animals. So what they have done is they have now started printing a 3D images of the horns and the teeth, and these 3D techniques or these 3D printing will be used in the cultural of the Arunachal Pradesh without harming the biodiversity of the region. Now in the social sector, we have government initiates the unified pension scheme. Now employees opting for UPS to be eligible for assured pension of 50% of the average basic pay drawn over the last 12 months before superannuation for a minimum qualifying service for 25 years. Union Cabinet on Saturday approved an assured pension of 50% of salary for those who joined the service after January 1, 2004, fulfilling long pending demands of government employees ahead of assembly elections in Haryana and Jammu and Kashmir. So over 50% of salary for those whose service have started from 2004. Now, the new pension scheme also guarantees an assured minimum pension of Rs 10,000 per month or superannuation after a minimum of 10 years of service. But this option scheme will benefit 23 lakh central governments, but it can also become 90 lakh if state governments also take part in it. Now, this is going to consider the inflation index, the assured family pension, and also the assured minimum pension. There will be a dearness relief based on All India Consumer Price Index for industrial workers, and in addition to the gratuity, the employees at the time of retirement would be eligible for a lump sum amount of 1/10 of monthly enrollment, which is pay plus the dearness allowance. So bills and regulations, we have the new bill threatens free speech, which is the editorial of the week. The bill is called the Broadcast Services Regulation Bill. So this is withdrawn for the time being and will be only effective after 15th October. But it says that any person broadcasting news and current affairs through an online paper, news portal, website, social media, intermediary or other mediums, excluding publishers or newspapers and replica e-papers of such newspapers, must adhere to the yet to be prescribed program and advertising code. So there is a certain code which will be published by the government, and the broadcasters beyond a certain threshold will have to initiate the government, will have to intimate the government of the existence within a month. That means if you get a threshold of the subscribers at this point, you have to intimate the government that we have this many subscribers. So the draft bill was placed in the public domain on 2023. It was passed, but as of now till 15th October this will not be there. So the bill says that to ensure compliance with the program and advertising code, grievance and compliance, there shall be self-regulation by broadcasters and broadcasting network operators. So it will be a self-regulatory mechanism. So shall constitute, so each broadcasting network will have a one or more content evaluation committee comprising members who are eminent individuals representing diverse social groups. Now, every broadcaster network operator shall broadcast only those programs that are duly certified by the CEC. That means you will have in the content evaluation committee, you will have people that will be part of the CEC, and if the CEC feels that your contents are not to be published before the public, then you cannot publish them. So only those things can be broadcasted which are actually certified by the CEC. The size, quorum and the operational details of the CEC would be determined by the government. So Editors Guild of India call out the bill of what is called as vague and excessive provisions. In its submission to the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, the EGI pointed out that the news and current affairs and systemic business activities or commercial activities have not been clearly defined. So you have not defined what you mean by news and current affairs and systemic business. So it becomes very vague and making the provision regulating news service very vague, very overboard and very worrisome. The EGI urged that the ministry to exclude the online content from the curation space, but drawing the attention of the ministry of the way the bill increases compliance burdens, said the government can prescribe different programs and advertising codes for different broadcasting services under the bill. Next, we have the wildlife, the mithun, which is found for the first time in the state. So in a significant discovery, the presence of mithun, which is also called as Bos frontalis, a magnificent bovine species which is only found in the state of Arunachal, is being found in Assam for the first time. Mithuns are also called as gayals, and they are culturally lives of many tribal communities because many tribal people are dependent on mithuns. And the recent discovery has been found in the Dima Asau district. So mithun is a state animal of Arunachal Pradesh and Nagaland. So as per 20th livestock census held in 2019, almost 200 are found in 4 states, which is Arunachal, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram. Okay. So on the 27th, we have the mountain gorilla conservation. So Uganda government fails to keep promise given to the Batwa people. So what happens is the Batwas are the people who reside in the forest, with the forest which is also as a resident of the mountain gorillas. So the Batwa people, it was believed that because of the livelihood of the Batwa people, they started hunting all these mountain gorilla. Okay, so that is why the large number of conservationists, they made sure that the Batwa people do not live there anymore, and then they were promised that they will be relocated to a different location where there is no mountain gorillas. So mountain gorilla conservation has come at a heavy cost for Africa's most ancient community, the Batwa, who used to live in that forest from till the 1980s. So still surviving Batwa pygmy are believed to be among the first inhabitants of the planet, a group of hunter-gatherers who lived in the dense rainforest of Uganda, Rwanda and Congo prior to their eviction in the early 1990s. So these early inhabitants have been evicted from the Uganda forest. Why? Because there was a lot of conflict which was seen between these people, the livelihood and also the mountain gorillas. So in order to preserve the mountain gorillas, the ancient community was viewed as a threat to the dwindling gorilla population. But once they were relocated, they were evicted from the villages, or sorry, when they were evicted from the forest, increase in the gorilla population has come to a rise since 1990s, and many of the conservationists have now started to tell that it is a good thing that they have evicted the Batwa community from the forest, because now the mountain gorilla has come back to its population. But they were forced out of the ancestral home, and the UNESCO World Heritage Site in the early 1990s, when it was declared as a national park, and the site in 1990s, they have lost their forever homes. And now the Batwa people many have died, many have bereft of the livelihood options, and now these people are at the brink of extinction. Now the culture, tradition and art, we have the Bileshwar Devalaya, which is a historic Shiva Shakti Peeth of state. Bileshwar Devalaya is an ancient Hindu temple dedicated to Lord Shiva and is known as a Shiva Shakti Peeth. The historic temple is situated at Belsor, 10 kilometers west of Nalbari town. The Durga Puja tradition started in the temple from the reign of Sorgodeo Hibohingho. An oral tradition says that in days of yore, a Brahmin had a milch cow which voluntarily shed its milk on a birina grove over a nearby mound, but could not be milked at the master's house. Okay, there was a cow which the masters tried to milk, but he was not able to do it. But the milk, once it reached the birina grove, it started shedding milk by itself. The Brahmin was surprised to see this phenomenon. To satisfy this curiosity, the Brahmin dug the mound and actually found a Shiva Linga. Therefore, all devotees believe that it is a true Shiva Linga. It is believed that the Shiva Linga of Bileshwar Devalaya is immovable, as it could not be removed from the ground even by the deployment of an elephant. According to the Sanskrit shloka, King Nagaska or Nagashankar built the temple in 252 AD, and according to archaeological documents, the temple is the oldest among the temple and was rebuilt in 1521 AD. King Naranarayan of the Koch dynasty donated large tracts of land to the temple. The pond in the temple campus is called Devan Pukuri, which was the name of the Naranarayan's brother Silarai. And then after the demise of Sorgodeo Hibohingho, Sorgodeo Lakshmi Singha took necessary steps to repair the crumbling moat. On the 29th, we have the border clash. Over 82,751 hectares of Assam's land has been encroached by the neighboring states, because Arunachal Pradesh has taken some land, Manipur, Mizoram and Meghalaya also we have seen, Nagaland, Meghalaya and the Mizoram. Manipur is not here. Several states have been taken in the last 3 years to strengthen security along the border. So the districts which have been under encroachment by the neighboring state is the Lakhimpur, the Kachar, the West Karbi Anglong, the Karimganj district, the Hailakandi and the Dima Hasao district. On the education, we have the editorial of the week, which is NIRF list mixed bag for states. So it's a good editorial. What is NIRF? The global ranking of Indian higher education is considerably poor. Indian higher education institutions need to improve the quality and clarify the approach to building world-class education institutions. New benchmarks of quality need to be defined to help the overall move up the quality spectrum. And according to Ministry of Human Resource Development, the NIRF on September 2015, it was first launched, and the rankings of Indian higher education since 2016 has been done on the following criteria: teaching, learning and resources, research and professional practice, graduation outcomes, outreach and inclusivity, and peer perception. Next, we have the National Institutional Ranking Framework was released by the Ministry of Education. It created mixed responses. So this year, a total of 10,845 higher education participated, as against only 3,000 in the year 2016. So which is a very good one. Next year, this Indian Institute of Technology retained its first rank, the Madras. Then we have Guwahati, which retained on the 9th rank, and a total of 3 higher education from Assam has been in the top 100. So one of them is the Guwahati University, which is in the 57 rank in the overall category. The other is the NIT Silchar bagged 92nd, and the other is the IIT Guwahati on the 9th rank. However, in the university category, GU ranked on the 40th. So all over the university rank, Guwahati University ranked 40th. Tejpur came on the 69th rank. So Guwahati was ranked much better than the Tejpur University. But among the state universities, all the state public universities, Guwahati came 13th, and the Dibrugarh University came as the 28th. During the NIRF ranking 2023, overall GU occupied the 88th rank with a total score of 218.87. Then Tejpur came at the 69th, and then IIT Guwahati ranked at the 9th. So this year GU obtained a total score of 268, which is a better than the 2023 last year ranking. Okay. Higher education institutions in Assam need to strive to improve their rank and performance by identifying areas of low performance. The major weak points of the universities in Assam are research performance and peer perception. That means on the basis of research, we are very poor in comparison to the rest of the universities. In 2023, GU scored only 18.20 in research performance, which increased to 24 in 2024. The score obtained by Tejpur is even. Same category, it was 28% in the 28.70 in 2023, which slightly decreased to 28.05 this year. So the performance of the universities of Assam in this parameter is considerably very low, and while JNU scored 70.93, Tejpur University and GU scored only 29.47 and 23.97 respectively, suggesting that academic peers and employees do not hold a favorable perception of these universities. So this was the total, this was a news from all over that we could collect, the important ones that is very important for your exam perspective. So I hope you liked today's session. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to write in the comment section. Till then, take care and all the best.